Where?
Lilydale.
Hop in.
Thanks.
Use the other door. That one won't work.
In the heart of western New York's rural mountain country lies a unique community, Lilydale.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, man, what gives us all this equipment?
We're going to make a film. Lilydale.
What?
Cruising around.
You're gonna make a film about Lilydale?
It's a groovy subject, I think.
For nearly a century, its inhabitants have abandoned the cares of this world, preferring instead to explore another world.
You don't look scared.
We just drive by. This car definitely don't go in there. It'll give up its ghost right here.
Whatever you say.
There you are.
Lilydale, its philosophy and its people have aroused the curiosity of thousands throughout the world.
Nice talking to you. Yeah, thanks for the ride.
Yeah, bye.
Every year, during the summer months, they come, searching, in hopes of obtaining an understanding of metaphysics, and possibly communicating with some discarnate soul.
She took a personal belonging from each of us. I gave her this. It's just a piece, and I took it off the rack. And she put it in a basket along with my wife's wedding ring, and another fellow's wedding ring, and his set of keys. And she'd take the object that was personal, and she'd sort of look out into I don't know where. And she'd turn around real suddenly and look at you and say something profound like,
there is no death. You can't destroy life. We need to prove this. We can. We demonstrate it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
During the heyday of spiritualism, in the 1880s, it is estimated that the religion had nearly 8 million followers. The 20th century has seen the popularity of spiritualism decline, but the past glories are still recognizable in the facade of the village and in the minds of the spiritualists.
We're very proud today as we greet you here in this 91st session. Proud that as we have gone happily along for 91 years, that we have with us a gentleman who has been our inspiration for more than 50 of those years, who year after year comes to Lilydale and brings his message of inspiration to us, aiding us in our understanding of spiritualism and all related subjects, and in so doing has won for himself, the inviolable reputation of being the Dean of Spiritualism. Billy Hammond, the Dean of American Spiritualism.
You're always so kind. I'd like to say to all the workers, if you have never spoken to Lilydale audience, please try to get on the program. It's the greatest audience in the world. People would be all outside here standing up all the way around this place, 4 or 5 feet deep, where you stand back and just look over shoulders, clear around that auditorium. Now there's people that can remember living, that can remember all of that. And they took benches like this, the Husky men and all, bring them in and put all the benches from the parks and set everything in that you could, every space for chairs. Well, now we don't have anything like that, but I don't like to advertise it. I do want to impress upon you something about Houdini. When he was living, I followed him all over the country, in the largest halls that we had, the auditoriums and so forth. And I replied to him when he attacked the mediums in this city and the other city and so forth. Why, I went there and there were no messages given at the meetings. It was a reply to Houdini, and Houdini called me the Houdini hound. I was always hounding him because I exposed him and I unmasked him, because he was fighting us as a religion. And don't you think he didn't, because I have all the evidence on him. He was fighting us as a religion. Religious intolerance is one of my favorite topics. When you consider that the materialists oppose us, I can accept that. It doesn't disturb me. But when a religious organization such as the great Christian church jumps on us, that I can't accept, because their very founder was one of the world's greatest mediums, and his greatest mediumship was healing, the healing mediumship. There was a materialization when he went to Mount Transfiguration with there was Jesus, Peter, James, and John, and they wound their way up Mount Transfiguration, and there Moses and Elias appeared to them, the materialization. And the most inconsistent thing is that the modern Christian doesn't accept this phenomena at all that's taking place at the present time, but accept it as taking place 2,000 years ago. What's the difference?
Billy Hammond, or the Dean as he is called, is the foremost exponent of the philosophy of spiritualism. Although not himself a practicing medium, his teachings have guided other mediums for over 50 years. Billy's experience chronicles Lilydale's colorful history.
Listen, Susan B. Anthony and her women wanted to have a convention in Chautauqua. They went over to Chautauqua and they refused them. And so we took them here at Lilydale. And all the great women in women's suffrage came here to Lilydale and held their convention. The big hour was in the morning when the train would come in from Buffalo and all these places. And then the band would sit here in the bandstand, which is torn down now, and the bandstand used to be up here where the houses burned down, these little burned down houses. And so this stand would have all the band in there, and they'd have their instruments all ready, and they'd wait for this crowd when they come over the bridge. And then when they'd come over the bridge, why, here, the band all set waiting for the train to come in and the people to come over the bridge would strike up the band. And the drummer would beat it as loud as he could beat. And so in they've come, spiritualists, mediums. And the more weird looking they were, we knew that they were mediums.
These paintings were painted by a process called precipitation. They are oils on canvas, and they're made entirely without the use of, without being touched by hands or by a brush. You brought your own canvas you wanted to, and you sat and watched it being painted without being touched by anybody in the room.
What materials did they use to create these?
Oil paints, and they're a process which did not dry. Chemical process which shows elements in it not furnished through physical sources but furnished by spirit. People today try to make it appear that can account for it by pastels. And since they don't know how they're made, and they have met persons who did, it's very easy to account for it by the pastel process in their minds. But those who knew the artists at the time they were doing it, or the mediums, know that it was done by pigment or oil process. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
About all right?
All right.
Paul, one other question. The spirit artists that we see working today, how would you describe what they do?
They're trying, of course, to get together enough force to get the same results they had before. But, of course, this force is being less. The results are less.
I feel that your Indian is the one who helps you quite a bit. And it's very close to you. And, of course, as you know, we know that the Indians are the ones who were very psychic, you know. They were children of nature, and so they make the best guides. So that's why we draw the Indians so much of the time. They're speaking about astrology here, too. So you love astrology, right?
Yes.
And astrology is one of the means of having psychic ability or being able to use it as a means of insight. And I would say that it's good to know about it, but I don't believe you ever study it completely or go into it perhaps as deeply as some other people. I do feel that you'll do more with your psychic abilities. Isn't that great? Who is John? I keep getting the name of John, either living or passed on, you know. We say there are no dead, you know. They're just on the other side, they're passed on. I've been drawing these faces, psychic portraits, for over 16 years, traveling coast to coast, and this is our latest vehicle. Would you like to come in and see it? We've had this one for 3 years now, and my wife and I both have been traveling together. It gets kind of tight quarters sometimes. And it's much better than a trailer because we can make a lot of speed, you know, traveling down the highway. And we have a place to stay, a place to eat in, because I'm a vegetarian, and it's very difficult to eat in restaurants.
Now I have a question now.
Yes.
When you go out, how many portraits would you say you paint a year?
Well, I don't know during a year, but I know that in a day's time I can do as many as 20. I don't like to do over 20 a day. Say that stereo doesn't work so good, though, does it? Or maybe it's a TV.
The TV, probably.
Yeah, yeah, because when you see something, you can't always tell what it is, but it looked like a TV or looked like a stereo, and I didn't know which one.
Television.
He says you're going to get another one.
Well, that's nice.
You need a colored one, right?
The children have been after one.
Well, you're going to get a colored one. You should never limit God, you know, and if you believe you'll have the money for it, you'll have it. And so they said, go ahead with it. So isn't that great?
Wonderful.
And what do you get for a portrait? I mean, how much would you charge to, say, have a psychic?
Well, we ask usually at least $8 now. It was less than that in years past because we were doing some small faces, but now we're only doing this one larger size. And these pictures are worth $100. If we were to frame the pictures, especially pictures of Indians, we could sell them for $100 in the art stores.
How come there is so much
Well, I've got an answer for that.
Indian predominance in spiritualism?
Well, this was their country, you see, and the law is, according to what we've been given by the spirit teachers, that those above us have to help those below them. And the Indians are above the white men in the spiritual evolutionary process. And they originally came from Atlantis. And so they were very close to nature, and they believed in communication. They believed in the white spirit or the great spirit, you know. They believed in their ancestors appearing to them. And so their religion is really built on spirit worship. And they had their seances. The Jesuits found them having seances up in Canada when they first arrived, and they saw them in their tents, and they saw these medicine men go into trance.
Now, before I go any further, I want you to know that I'm used by an Indian called Niwa, who has used my body nigh on to 45 years. All the time this force overtook my body, I had terrific pains in the back of my head and in the temples that sometimes I thought I would go out of my mind. And then when this took hold of me, it eradicated. This continued for a good many years until one fine day in a convalescent home where I served as a medium, he came, told me that he was a young Indian of Cheyenne origin who was shot in the back of the head by a white man and lost his life. And I've always said to him, well, I'm a white man, then why do you use me? I caused you to lose your life. But nevertheless, like all good people and children of God, he must see in me, like all spirits, see in their instruments some good.
All I do is stand there, close my eyes, and whatever this is controls my whole body, goes through my body. First, it's like an electric shock or a shot that takes my body. Then I'm neither here nor there. Then round and about me, all these things begin to perform. Voices speak, people make themselves manifest. I see them. When I say I don't mean Hermelese, I mean Niwa. Then through my body, whatever he does to my body, that I cannot tell you. My mouth repeats as it sees, as it hears, or as it's directed to do.
I wish to speak, if I possibly can, for a very kindly man touching Harry and me. When he lived upon the earth, his initials were MS. Where are you? Quickly. MS with initials of this man. Where are you? Speak. MS. MS. His first name is M-A-U-R-I-C-E. Who would know him? Morris. Morris.
Here.
Will you make him welcome?
Yes.
Do you know why he makes the letter S?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. I know that you people cannot quickly respond because anything is liable to happen. Any one of us are liable to come. Now remember, I want you to realize and know that this is not Harry Malaysia. It is me.
Yes.
And if you wish to refer to me, I am called Neva. I want you to know that as this Morris is standing by my side and by the side of this mortal flesh, he wants you to know that he has come here, first of all, to bring you assurance that in the days that are to come in a certain direction, according to the petitions of your consciousness, all is well. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Good.
If the voice or if someone should come and the person who has attracted this individual from the other world does not answer, everything goes blank. Because they in the other world know that someone in the audience has attracted them. But between they in the earth and they in the spirit, there is like what you call static, if you please. And that's what holds up everything. Now, like you told me, you were there at the seance, and you said that after a few moments, a lady yelled that she knew who the spirit was. Well, that's the way it is. You see, it dies down, and without my physically knowing, my body becomes nervous, knowing that something's wrong, where before, you know, it keeps moving all the time in this rapid pace, like a current going through it.
Charles W. is related to the person I want to reach through the father. Don't say no, we know it don't belong to you. Where are you? He's related through your father. Now someone knows him. His last name is N-O-S-L-I-W. Wilson. Who knew Charles Wilson? Well, I'm going to make him welcome. He's here, just a moment. I want to go up this aisle right here. I want to go 3, 4 in. Will you speak to me? Up this aisle, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are you? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You don't have to worry about this man. Just say hello to me. Are you in the 3rd row, the 4th one in?
The lady with the hand up to her chin.
I can't wait. I wish to speak. I can't wait. I wish to speak if you possibly can for some minutes. Now you lose out. Is there anyone here would know this lady? She seems so very glad to come. When she lived and breathed, her name is E-C-A-R-G. Grace. Grace is her name. Grace. Who would know her?
I do. I know Grace.
You know Grace. Are you in this part of the tabernacle? You're in this part of the tabernacle. Where are you? Just speak up. I can't see you. My boy can't see you. All is that I hear you from where I am. Good. Will you make this Grace welcome? Thank you very much. Now, while we're talking to you, there is a lady here. I do not know. I do not know. There is a lady here, and she keeps repeating over and over again that we know you. Nellie is my name. Good. Then I want to speak also for a man that's standing here. And all the time this man is standing here, he keeps repeating over and over again. Did you know that your father and mother knew at one time a man and a woman called Mr. and Mrs. Lewis? Thank you very much. I want you to know they're here. And they have in their hand something. I cannot tell you what it is. You call it a bag. But it is white, no fuller white could be. And I know that this somehow or other, they're doing this. So in a very short space of time, I want you to remember this. On the 14th or 15th or 13th day of October, this coming October, whatever is in this bag will be falling in your lap. So therefore, something that momentarily must be commensurate to your heart is coming to pass, or you are going to receive whatever they have in this bag for you. So please, please, don't lose hope, don't lose faith. And you know, my boy Harry would say, when it happens, that it will happen, fall on your knees and let the Great Spirit know how grateful you are, will you? That's a good girl, and I like you too. And now may the peace and the joy and the love of the Spirit rest and abide with each and every one of you. Until we meet again, may the Great One watch twixt thee and me, while for a moment we are absent one from the other. Amen, and good night.
There are ethics in this work. We receive a great deal more detail than we give in a message. We have to boil it down so that it can be presented to the person without going into their private business in public.
How come so many messages that you see if you go to message services and things are so vague? Why do we always get a message from Clara? If we're actually seeing it, why isn't it Clara Barton or somebody like that?
We don't. Oh, brother, you show your limitations. How many now? There were 110 people at a seance on what? Friday night?
Yes.
Wasn't when did I work?
Yes.
If you can get one of those 110 people to tell you they heard one message of that type of junk that you just spoke, then I'll give you the last $100 in my bank account. Yes, thank you. There is, and we're not usually name droppers, but there is an Anna. I have Elizabeth. There is Martha and Sarah, and let's go to the Johns, and to somebody they're calling Phil, and a man whose name was Mark. But in particular, I wish to speak for a maternal grandmother who says there may be a couple more in the basket, but I got you one. And these are foxgloves, and they meant a great deal. I apparently lived in the deepest country, where the woods and the hedges were alive with flowers, and these foxgloves mean a great deal. They mean more than that to me as I bring you this message. However, we are asking you to think clearly. You tell me I'm all thought out, but you're not. You're not. You're very virile here, and there are a couple of things that have not occurred to you yet in the situation which is at hand. I see a gentleman opening a garden gate. There's a fence with a gate, and the gate is squeaking, and they say it would be so simple to lubricate it. Now, in the situation where you are, please use lubrication. You know, I'm watching your order, you see, I know you've got it. 190. 190. Are you over there? Good. Now let me have your voice again. That's good, that's fine. I feel that although you put yourself so far away at this time, yet you are wondering, all right, can I send a bridge over there? Can she reach me? Well, she certainly can. And I want you, please, to know that I'm receiving a warning of kinds. Would you mind taking more fluids, you see? Pressing fluids, you need it, you are not taking nearly enough. And we are most anxious to have enough fluid in your system to flush the kidneys and other parts of your body. There is a little uric acid sludge, she says. We all know what uric acid does, you know, gives us aches and pains and things. Yes, thank you. There is a Martha here, and there is, yes, and two, not one, two Margarets here, and someone who was not named Elizabeth, but she was named Eliza, and she's calling it, oh, Clarion right here. So I'm going to give it to you. God bless you. God bless you all for this wonderful vibration that has enabled me to work. Thank you. The moment I touched the billet, the flowers began to move. You see, you're not up there, you couldn't see that. They begin to move, and one works its way up. And that's the one I use. What?
Somebody wanted to know your name.
My name?
Listen, this is going to cost you, you know. You're shooting my car now and I get residual.
The mother of the bride.
Arrivederci.
each healer in their band has a spirit doctor who is with them at all times. But during healing, they call in a specialist on whatever is wrong with the patient.
The healing forces work right through the healer's hands. The hands do absorb some of the, what you would say, the aches or pains in the system of a patient. We dip our hands right after healing in cold water that takes it off completely. So there's no danger of the next patient receiving any of the ailments of the previous patient.
She just knew where to put her hands on top of my head, where I hurt, my temples, where I get those sharp pains, my shoulders, and the way it works down. And then on top of that, my back, she knew just where to press on my back. And that's the thing that got me, right where the back hurt.
Yeah.
And then I feel so lightheaded, and you can feel it. As soon as she puts her hands on you, how it starts drawing. I can feel all the way down to my legs. Yeah, that's the part of it. You can feel way down to your legs. And you feel so lightheaded that it's like you're floating.
You felt it was very successful.
Yes,
and
you
interesting.
feel it.
Is this your first day feeling?
Yes, it is. I have heard about it, and I was told I should try it, but I never did until I came over here. And
will it be your last, or do you think you might try?
I think I'll try some more, because I feel wonderful. I feel like I'm floating. I'm walking, but nothing seems to bother me or nothing. I feel so light, so yeah, you can't explain it, but you feel so wonderful. Something terrific.
I feel this is not cookie with, and I feel this man does not take proper care of himself. Do you understand this? Sure. All right. I want to go way in the back. I don't know if this is somebody who has come in or not, and I want to place the name of Edward, and there is an Edward in spirit. Who knows about this, please? I'm in the back somewhere. The lady with the green with the orange and yellow one. Will you say hello? She's got pearls knotted.
Oh, me?
Yes, me. Would you place an Edward in spirit?
No.
I don't believe this is a family connection, lady. I believe this is someone you knew, and it's an Edward, and I know he's in spirit.
Oh, Uncle Ed. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to leave it with you anyway. I don't care if you place it. I feel there is also someone who is a nervous wreck around and about you, who lets other conditions upset them, bother them. I will also say there is a lady now who is having trouble with glasses. He should be changed, and she pays no attention to this. I will say there is a gentleman who is thinking, should we take a trip or should we not? I will say if you sit on him, you will take the trip. The man can't make up his own mind. Do you understand this? Goodbye. I want to give one more. Just a minute. I want to contact now someone, all right, over here, who lives in the state of Pennsylvania. No, ma'am. This young man, are you from Pennsylvania? Right. He sits there. He doesn't say anything. All right. I don't know if this is newer to you or not, and I don't particularly care. I have to give you what is given to me. I feel, sir, there is something pertaining around September with you. I like this very, very much. I'd like to ask you, is someone in your family or yourself and your wife expecting a child? You don't know. I'm going to say yes. All right, you should know. But I'm going to say to you, you will be aware of this factor very, very soon. And I see a baby right in front of you, and I like it. Thank you, and God bless you. All right, just a moment.
I would like to come to you, sir. Me? Yes, to you. As I come to you, I come with the Father's vibration. And he comes very close to you. I feel you've been giving out a little bit more than what you have been taking back in. So Father says, as you walk through these woods and these grounds here, you are being chemicalized. You understand what I mean?
May I hear your voice, please? Yes. Yes, and as I come over there to you, I have a lady that makes herself visible to me, and as I am seeing this woman, I want to say that she wants to take your face in her hands, and she is putting her hands around your face and to let you know that everything will be all right. Would you understand this, please? Ma'am, okay, would you please take it and think about it, because I am seeing this and I'm seeing it too clear.
And that as we see that you are going to make trips across the Briny Sea. You understand?
Yes, I do.
And so as we say to you today, that as we see you going to the northern part of Ireland to get into the movement, and to get the first-hand pictures and the voices of them great people.
Seems that way.
It was a man's influence, though. Oh, are we going to be in that picture?
Oh, no. Yeah, we're taking a picture.
What is that a Canadian, are you from a Canadian
No,
paper or
United
something?
States.
Oh,
This
are
is a
you?
movie.
Oh, that's great.
Do you believe that the souls of animals live on just like people?
I certainly do. We're all God's creatures, you know? You don't have to kiss me.
Well, if she's got an immortal soul, she probably would want to kiss you.
Well, I'm the only one she knows, you know? And she's my baby.
So you're going to give her a nice grave when she's...
Well...
I noticed the pet cemetery. I'm sorry if I brought up any bad subjects.
No. She will be cremated the way I'm going to be cremated.
Folks, how was the reading? The message service good? Enjoyed it. Are you just visiting Lilydale, or are you
Visiting.
interested in spiritualism?
Yes, to a point.
And how about you folks?
Yes.
Yes.
What caused you to come here? I mean, you're just to a point.
Opportunity.
The opportunity knocked. Are you going to plan? Do you plan on any readings of any sort, or are you?
Yes.
When is this going to happen?
Very little while.
I don't suppose
Very
we could
short.
come along, could we? We'd like to see what is happening, you know. It's right with you.
It's all right with me, but you have to talk to the guy doing it.
Does your primary interest lie in spiritualism, or does it lie in psychic phenomena? And how about you, Yellow?
I have, I think, a personal interest.
And that is?
I would like to know if my father is really...
All those fancy pictures you're taking, boy.
Well, we're going to put him in a movie.
Oh, you are you?
Yeah, we are.
Well, am I going to be able to see that movie?
You're going to be in it.
Oh, was that so? I hope my puss looks pretty good.
That's what it says, movie.
That's
See you later.
movie, eh? Nothing like being old, is there? No. Wow.
Well, how about you? You know, like you're here, and there must be a good reason.
If you've ever taken a drug, you see something that you don't know anything about. And drugs don't do it. I mean, drugs are real while you're there, but they aren't real because you come down from them. And there's the same vagueness in being in spiritualism. I mean, I think they're related, like, somehow.
Do you think one might be healthier than the other?
Definitely. I have been out of myself.
out of my physical body on drugs. And it's real while you're doing it, but it's not really real. This is, Lilydale is maybe real, that's why I'm here.
Yes, can I help you? Are you the people that had the appointment for the circle?
Right.
Okay, fine. Do you want to come in this one? Just come on in and see it. Anywhere. I will be behind the desk there. I understand that when you made the appointment, most of you have little knowledge about our religion. First of all, when we come in like this, the first thing I want you to do is relax. Just put anything out of your mind and just sit down and become totally relaxed.
Relaxation. Now a person is tense. My father passed away. Oh, I hope my dad comes. I hope my dad comes. I hope my dad comes. You're building up a negative wall, making it terribly hard for the medium. But to save your emotions getting in the way, you would say, and I always instruct anyone if they come in this condition, now just sit and watch me, and you may notice something around, you may hear something. If you get all upset, you're not going to hear it. And then I ask, and believe me, and sometimes we pray, that we be given something that's so unusual regarding the person who's passed. We give it. The moment we give it, boy, the tears stop. Here we are, we're not going to miss another bit, and that's marvelous. Then spirit can communicate.
When I have a group of young people, normally I ask for someone else to sit in that knows something about spiritualism, because I can draw an energy force from them. That is, all they're used for is for a battery type operation. So I'll open with prayer and we'll get started. Great infinite intelligence, as we approach thee at this time, we ask that we be raised in consciousness, that our minds and our hearts become at one with thee. We ask that as we gather here, those unseen friends might draw ever closer to us, that they might give us their wisdom that they have gained from that other side of life.
The public is so gullible ordinarily, especially the American public. You could talk to them, you'd be outside, someone outside Herb's, for instance, instructing everybody who went in. Now listen, you don't be gullible, you see. Now just be sure that what you get is right. Now, you know, don't believe everything you hear, and they'll go in with their mouth open and their eyes open, and if he wanted to, he could hand them a line of goods. Now, he'd vomit afterwards, so would I. You see, we're trained to the hair almost. We can't do it. Truth is truth.
And as I am aware of you and come there with you, I am seeing something here which is unusual. Would you understand why I would see lemons around you? Would you understand this? Yes. Just looking at you, I could surmise your freedom and love of freedom, but I feel as though that you get out here, and would you understand why I would see you? I want to go back almost to an Adam and Eve type stereo picture of the Garden of Eden, where they're going along and picking the fruit off of the trees and the berries off of the vine to get their food and nourishment, where you go out and it is just that free with you. I'd like to speak to the young lady, if I may hear your voice. Yeah. Would you understand why I would say to you that out of this whole group, you seem to be a little bit more leery about this than anyone else? Would you understand what I'm talking about? I feel a hesitation there with you and a little bit of fear about this. Would you understand this? Yes. And I want to say to you, just relax and let go. A spirit has a great way. They never embarrass people. And as I am there with you and as I am conscious of you, Do you have some sort of a stuffed animal or something that you, like your security blanket when you're around home or at night? Would you understand this? Is it a rag doll of some sort? Yeah. Okay, fine, because I was seeing it and it was rather amusing. They like to have fun too, and they'll bring things through like this to make you relax. Also, as I am talking there to you, I feel as though there is a great desire around you for children. Would you understand this? You don't understand this at all?
Yes.
Because I feel a desire for children and a love for children. Would you understand this? Yes. And I am very conscious of this. Could you place a young girl, a small child that would be around and about you, and I feel a girl's influence with this, that there's a certain love and a certain control that you have between you and this girl, that you can make her do things that other people can't do?
Yes. Most mediums, believe it or not, love having a good skeptic. There is no greater challenge in the world than having someone come in who absolutely doesn't believe in it, because it is always then that spirit brings through something that is so shattering, and it is possible, believe me, to bring back a situation, a description, down to the most minute details.
I wanted to ask you, what sort of, what do you call it, vibrations or whatever it is, could you get that would tell you that I would go to sleep with a rag doll every night? I mean, really?
As I was sitting here, I was seeing this rag doll being held up in front of me, and then I was being shown you. And I was in a bedroom atmosphere, and I knew immediately that there was something to do with you and a rag doll and sleeping in a security blanket.
No security.
Subconsciously, maybe.
Are there any earthly objects that you have to have around you?
No, there isn't. A lot of people have asked the questions about charms and physical objects that we use. This does not give any power to the medium. The only thing that may be there is a psychological effect. It is like people use crystal balls. It's for a point of concentration. We, as spiritualists and as a religion, do not feel that we use this. We do this type of concentration through discipline of the mind, not through any physical object.
I just thought of a round table and dark lights, and it's just a misconception, I think.
Well, I think that what you had in your mind was the Hollywood stereotype of seance, where the table starts waving, you know, in midair, and ghost-like forms are flying through the room. And this has been caused by the Hollywood aspect of it. And this is not what you find in a seance room. It can be done without all of this hocus pocus.
If science ever did prove psychic phenomena and attributed it to physical, scientific reasoning, what do you think that would do to your religion?
Nothing. We disprove it immediately. Nothing.
I don't think that we would disprove it. I think that if they would prove that there is a physical way that they can test this electric mental force that we know exists, this would only enhance our religion, because we are based on fact, on scientific fact.
I don't think there's anything here substantial enough to say that they are communicating with spirits.
If you were blind, and I would say to you that there's an elephant standing here beside me, we'll say, and you're blind, are you in any position to argue with me that it's not there?
Well, this is kind of like clairvoyant speaking to us.
Yes. In other words, just because you don't see spirit, are you in any position to say that I don't or someone else doesn't see?
That's good. That's it, you know? That's it right there. All looking for that same escape, you know? Like she says, let me hear some voices, and they all start yelling out, you know? Because they're quite sure that they're having a visitation. You know,
It is the most wonderful gift to be a spiritualist. It is a God-given gift, friends. We don't all possess it.
like it was a big farce, I think. Middle
and
class.
I had the same headache that I got from the Catholic Church.
Right.
It gives people peace of mind.
I'm interested in it, and I'd like to find out more about it. I don't disbelieve.
We commune with the spirits, and we know they are alive. They are more alive than some of us here are. So don't grieve when they leave us, because they're going on to a very lovely life, and we will meet them someday. Just always remember that. And God bless you. And I'd like to touch the gentleman over here. I want to come to you, sir, because I hear a lady saying, Mama's here. Is this your mother? Did she... Thank you. She's bringing Peter, who passed out of this life, yes, in Vietnam War.
I see a gentleman opening a garden gate. There's a fence with a gate, and the gate is squeaking. And they say it would be so simple to lubricate it. Now, in the situation where you are, please use lubrication.